redefining masculinity, internal and external cues. And after this, we can take like a quick break, go into the complete natural system, and just, that's it. And then we can do Q&A and all that shit. Cool?
Yeah.
So in order to feel that you're truly enough, so now we're going to get into how do you feel that you're enough? Okay, how do you really get down into that belief? The first thing is vulnerability. This is the most important thing that I've ever learned. And I learned this by going out alone. I learned this by traveling alone and putting myself in situations where I had to be vulnerable in order to connect with other people. So most guys, they try to act cool. They try to go up to the girl and compensate for them feeling that they're not enough. And the guys who act vulnerable don't care how they look. So what does that subconsciously tell yourself when you're being vulnerable? You're expressing your emotions, your state, everything that you feel completely to the girl that you don't even know. What does that subcommunicate?
You're comfortable with yourself.
You're comfortable with yourself. So you're telling yourself in your head subconsciously, oh, I'm expressing this to another person that I don't know, therefore it must have value. Because we only express things that have value. You'll never go up to someone and be like, so, yo, dude, I walked into my kitchen the other day, took out the peanut butter, made a peanut butter jelly sandwich. Dude, shit was awesome. That has no fucking value because it's constant. Everybody can do it, right? So we only share things. We share stories that have a high climax. We share all these things that have value. So when you're able to express how you feel, express anything that you feel, whether you're nervous or any state you're in, that's subconsciously telling yourself, this must have value because I'm expressing it. Cool? This also shows confidence in what you say. Say what I say is completely enough. So regardless of what I say, whether I say something cool or whether I say something stupid, whether I express whether I'm nervous or not, whatever I say is perfectly good enough. And it has to be because I'm expressing it. So, when you're able to express these statements of vulnerability, it is hardwired in a woman's brain or anybody's brain. When someone's vulnerable with you, whether it's me being vulnerable with you, whether it's me being vulnerable with you, whatever it may be, it's hardwired in our brain to like that person. Instantly, immediately. Because this again goes back to the evolutionary psychology. We have a tribe mentality. So if I'm vulnerable with you and we're in a tribe and I express my true emotions, all that stuff, that instantly builds trust within you. You're like, I can trust this guy because he's truthful about how he's feeling at this moment. Therefore, his future is also going to be the same, whatever he says. So instantly with the girl, it builds trust when you're vulnerable. So how do you do this? Statements of vulnerability. And statements of vulnerability, really, like if you're out in a venue or you're out during the day and you feel nervous or you feel like you can't talk to the girl, right? You put yourself in a vulnerable situation where you actually go up to her and you say, I was gonna actually come up to you, but I feel too nervous to, so I don't know what to say. What should I say as a good first line to you? Is that gonna get the girl? Probably not. But it's going to put you in a place where you're expressing yourself truly and authentically. So let's say I'm talking to the girl now, and I feel nervous mid-conversation. I notice my heart's beating faster. And again, this stuff comes over time as you become more aware of it and you can make conscious decisions. But my heart starts beating faster, all these different things. And I tell her, oh shit, I just totally run out of things to say. My heart's beating fast. You make me nervous. Now, notice I'm never saying it in a serious way. Notice I'm not being like, I'm nervous. I'm saying it in a playful way because I want to train my brain to realize that whatever I feel is fun. It's good. It's good emotions. I can express it freely because it's good enough. I'm confident in what I say, and she's going to accept what I have to say. So regardless of whether she leaves or not, I've already expressed myself and put myself in a vulnerable place. So the next girl I'm talking to, I can be vulnerable as well. The next girl that I see, I'm not going to feel as nervous to go up to her because I've already put myself in the most uncomfortable place that I can possibly do, which is being vulnerable, right? So It's just playful expression of whatever you're feeling in that moment. Not to mention, when you do this, it puts you into the present, because you're experiencing something, then you're putting it out. You're experiencing something, then you're putting it out. You're never holding it back. So as soon as you do that, it puts you in the present moment right then and there, what you're experiencing, and you're being playful with it, which again makes it feel good, right? So now you're getting rid of that nervousness from your body. You're completely leaving it, you're pushing it aside. Second thing, empathy. Now, what I want to say is obnoxiousness is never self-amusement. And I see a lot of guys who go out, having fun is having fun. But then they're obnoxious. They're like yelling at the top of their lungs in a like classy environment. Like I've seen guys who go to like the Thompson Hotel, which is in Toronto. Everyone's just very like proper, and they go in and they're like, "Hey!" And it's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? No one, it creates such low social value for yourself that now you've burned that place down for yourself. You can't talk to any girl because they're gonna see you as low social value. So vulnerability doesn't mean doing things that makes you obnoxious. It's just expressing how you feel while being empathetic of other people around you. So I'm not gonna go up to a girl. A statement of vulnerability isn't going up to the girl and saying, I truly wanna fuck you right now. Sure, I might be thinking that, but if I say that, then I'm not taking into account what she's feeling. That's going to put a lot of pressure on her. It might be offensive, all these different things. So it's expressing yourself to a certain point. Okay? Now, when you're talking to the girl and you get a sign of disinterest, so like let's say she's like backing up, or she like looks at you like this, all these different things, that's when you need more empathy. So literally, a statement of empathy would be like saying like, oh, sorry, by the way, I have dark humor. Anyways, and you just talk. Or you say, let's say you go up to the girl and immediately she's like this. You're like, by the way, I don't mean to bug you. Like, if you want to tell me to fuck off, I'll fuck off. Anyways, da da da. So you're already pre-framing in your mind that you understand her situation. When you do this, it creates massive social value and it shows you're emotionally intelligent. You can read her emotions, raises your value because of evolutionary psychology, means that in the tribe, more chances of survival, reproduction, all that good stuff. And the same with social value, right? So, and then the last thing is the masculine leader, the leader of the tribe, wants everyone to feel comfortable. The authoritarian man in the tribe, what usually happens, like when you look at history, they get overthrown. There's a revolution because people fucking hate them. But the real leader who's good at leading people wants other people to feel comfortable. So when you can make the girl feel comfortable, use statements of empathy, then in her mind she's like, this is a good leader. Again, evolutionary psychology increases chances of survival and reproduction. Cool? We kind of covered this unreactivity, which means that you have emotional stability. You're not easily thrown off. And as a man, that's very important on your journey, especially if the girl's going to be with you. You can be the rock that she can lean on. You don't need to prove anything. You're not judgmental. You're not phased easily, which shows massive levels of confidence. And the way I like to think of this, the way I notice whether I'm being reactive or not, is let's say I'm talking to the girl, and you have to make a conscious decision of this, and this really helps if you actually do Vipassana, which is the thing. I'm going to put it up again. So if you guys want to like take a picture of it or something. Dhamma.org. By the way, I'm not going to make any money off of them. I can guarantee you that. They're giving shit away for free. So this really helped me to go deep in my body and notice how I'm reacting when I'm around the girls. So reacting with like nervous smile or laughter, like going like that. Or whether my heart was beating fast, whether I was breathing really fast. And the best way to notice is your breath deep and slow, or is it fast and shallow? If it's fast and shallow, you're in a reactive state. You're reacting to her, you're not feeling comfortable, you're not feeling good. If it's deep and slow, like that, as you're talking to her, that means you're in a good place. You're non-reactive, you're centered, you're grounded. And the way, again, you can do this is doing the 10-day retreat. If you can take 10 complete days, or actually it's more like 11 and a half. If you can do that, if you can't, while you're there with her in the moment, and let's say she's talking, start breathing deep. Start practicing deep breath, center yourself, ground yourself. Okay? Amusement. So, amusement puts you in a peak and flow state. So peak state is when you are at your highest, like it feels like you're on ecstasy. You just feel really, really fucking good. Right? That's why with you, like that's something that you need to work on right now.
Sorry, just say that one more time.
That's something that you need to work on right now. Being in a peak state, having self-amusement. Because even there, in an environment with all these guys, in your body, you can't fully let go. You couldn't fully express. Okay? Like getting down on the floor, like just literally carefree, not giving a fuck. So it puts you in a peak state where you feel really good, and it puts you in a flow state. Now, flow state means that you're very creative, on your feet, very present. So who here has noticed when they're talking to a girl, at times like they'll run out of things to say very fast, but at other times, when you're talking to her, you can just flow freely, like shit just comes to you out of nowhere. You're saying the most crazy things. Everything is gold. Everything is gold. So that's flow state. And that comes from when you've had all this fun, which has made you present and carefree. Right? So, yeah, allows for free flow, and all of the masculinity is rooted in fun. So you being at your most masculine state, you need to be able to first have fun. If you can't have fun, you won't get all those attractive traits that come with it. The universally attractive trait, being unreactive, all those different things won't come if you hadn't had fun first and put yourself in a carefree, present vibe. Cool? So, the first step, like I said, vulnerable. Put yourself in a place of vulnerability. Anything that you can do that would be uncomfortable and you don't know the situation, you don't know how the outcome is going to go, do that. Okay? Statements of vulnerability. Then give your brain proof, but not promises. It's very important. Proof, but not promises. Now, what this means is most guys will go, look at themselves in the mirror and be like, you're good looking, man. You can do this. You can do this. They're telling themselves that. But their brain isn't seeing the proof behind that. Right? So if I'm in an environment and I'm telling myself, I can do it, I can talk to girls, all that stuff, or people don't care about what I have to do, people don't care whether I dance on the dance floor. If I'm telling myself this stuff, my brain doesn't have any evidence of it. So your brain needs evidence first. So give your brain proof that nobody gives a fuck what you're doing in that environment. That comes from doing silly shit like that, like awkward like dances and stuff like that. And then like I've literally done this where I've been on the dance floor and I've been like dancing and I'll just like do this for like literally 5 minutes. And I look around and nobody's looking. Even though my brain was assuming, don't do that, your ego's gonna get hurt, everyone's gonna notice, da da da. Nobody was looking. How do you think I felt after that? Amazing. Because my brain now had proof that nobody gives a fuck. So the next time I see that girl over there and I want to go approach her, my brain's like, oh, no one's gonna look, go. So put yourself in a vulnerable place and then give your brain proof but not promises that nobody around you in the environment doesn't give a fuck. So one thing that I've actually had one of my students do is we're out in a venue and he was afraid of going up to the girl because he noticed there was like another group. He's like, no, she's with that group, da da da. I'm like, all right, go up to the group, ask them for permission to approach the girl, then go approach her. So now he's putting himself in a very vulnerable place where he's expressing how he feels. He's like, I want to approach this girl. Can I do it? And also he's giving his brain proof that those people don't give a fuck. So he went up to them. They were a completely different group. They didn't care. The guys are like, dude, I'll help you if you need it. Like they were super supportive with it. And now he's also created accountability. So those people expect him to approach now. So what do you think he did after that?
Approach.
Exactly. So vulnerability, give your brain proof, not promises. Okay? Okay. Yeah, and again, we covered this enthusiasm. You show interest in the person. You give them pleasurable sensations. It increases your likability factor, so the liking tendency. It shows you have higher emotional IQ when you're enthusiastic. It shows that you're more happy, which again can rub off on the girl, and she's going to want to be around that. And you have higher social status. So, one thing that I really want to cover, your emotion creates your emotion. This is a concept that Tony Robbins teaches. So if you're out in a venue and you're like this and you're putting your hands in your pocket, what do you think you're going to feel? Timid, nervousness, shy, all these different things. Versus if you get your hands out of your pockets, you start jumping, you open up your body like this, now your body's reacting in a different way and your brain has to follow. Your brain has to follow, yeah.
Even if you're just like tapping your foot, I think that's...
Yeah, I notice myself doing that when I'm like nervous, right? Your body always reacts first, and that's something you'll learn at Vipassana if you end up doing it. So, your state is always going to be wavering. Sometimes you're going to feel unenthusiastic, but blast yourself into enthusiasm. So one thing I like to do is I did this at one of my bigger seminars where it was like a paid seminar, and it was like to transform people's beliefs. And we did an exercise where we literally created energy by the way that we move. So we're gonna all do this right now. Just get up. So you want to create some space around you. So make sure there's space. And what we're going to do like a warrior yell. So all you're doing is this motion where you're going from this, and as you're doing it, you're going, whoa, whoa. So I'll demonstrate right now. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay? So you guys ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Good. How do you feel?
Pumped.
Let's do it another time. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So now, when I go up to a girl, am I going to be like this?
No. Probably not.
No. How do you feel right now? You look fucking blasted. So blast yourself into enthusiasm. Things like, and you can anchor it, like if I feel good, what I can do is, fuck, now I'm going to lose my voice. But what I can do is I can just be like, wah! Like that. Just that little thing. Every time I feel good, I do that. And now that's anchoring it in my brain that with this thing comes the positive emotions as well. So if I go in a venue and I feel nervous and all that stuff, I just go, wah! And all of a sudden a blast of positive emotions comes in. This is called NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. So you can actually anchor these emotions into you whenever you want. So you can also do this with freedom. So my buddy Valentino, he loves doing like this thing where he goes like, freedom! And he does that. So we can try that as well. You guys want to try that?
Yeah, right.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Freedom! And now you've blasted yourself literally into a place of enthusiasm. Okay, so everyone sit down. So now once we cover these things, these are very basic. The way an attractive man actually carries himself on a day-to-day basis. And you can actually practice this stuff. And then we'll take a break and go into the step-by-step game plan because I'm going to need some water after that. So the first one, eye contact. And there's 3 different phases of the eye contact that I go through when I'm talking to a girl. Cool. So now you don't have to make this like systematic, but when you're talking to a girl, you can do these 3 different types of eye contact. And you shouldn't be thinking about it. It will come to you naturally and you'll notice it. So when you're first meeting her, having like enthusiastic eyes where you're like this is actually better. Where it's almost very open, expressive. Being playful, like kind of squinting like this, these little things create massive shifts in emotion. But the most important thing is sexual. So the way you create sexual eye contact is squinting at a very deep level. I don't know if I want to do this with you, but we'll do it. So it's squinting at a very deep level and just kind of looking at her like this. So you're squinting, but at the same time you're not like this, or you're not like smiling because that's playful. You're almost like very serious, but you're like, it's almost what you should be thinking in your mind is, I'm gonna fuck your brains up. Because that's what I'm thinking when I'm looking at her. So that's when it comes to eye contact, that's how you can kind of manipulate it to create certain emotions. Then there is vocal tonality. So if you have a deep, resonant voice, it means you're a leader. You're able to lead people freely, you're able to lead people better, you have more influence power, which again, I don't want to cover evolutionary psychology again, but it creates attractive traits. So that's very important. Now you have loud volume versus directed volume. So loud is if I'm speaking like this, but it's not as powerful if I talk to you directly and I'm looking at you and you can see that it's very directed towards you.
Yep.
Right? So you don't necessarily have to be loud, it just has to be directed to the girl. Okay? And a lot of times I'll see students, like when we go out, like they'll go up to a girl, they'll come back and they'll be like, it didn't work. I'm like, she didn't fucking hear you. Okay? Go up again. And then they'll just be a little bit more directed with their voice, and immediately the girl turns around. So a lot of times the girl isn't even like ignoring you, she just can't hear you. So you have to be very direct with your voice. Cool. And then there's two levels of the way that you can speak, rapport building versus breaking rapport. So rapport building is like starting it here and being like, oh really? Oh my God, me too, that's so awesome. And you're going up, which means that you have a lower level of value than she does, versus breaking rapport, which is like, oh really? Cool. It's going straight down. Awesome, great. You're ending things with a period. And again, that shows leader qualities to the woman. So, body language, very important. I've literally, like, so many girls that I've dated, banged, or been friends with have told me one of the most important things they look for in guys is how they walk. That's it. Like, they're like, I know from the beginning, like, whether I'm going to talk to him or not, just by the way he walks. So if you're walking up to her, you have horrible body language, like this, da-da-da, you might have the best game, all this different stuff, but in her mind, there's a trigger that says this guy's low value. So, your chest, chin, and shoulders all have to walk with confidence. So don't be the guy who's doing this stuff, like you're just like walking out like a Persian club owner. Don't worry, I'm Persian, so I'm not being racist in case anyone's Persian. But the way I like to think of it is not hold your chest out, but hold your chest high. So this is holding your chest low, this is holding your chest high. You're holding it at a higher frame. And this itself, like I've had tons of moments where I just walk into a venue and girls start looking at me just because I have good body language. And everyone around is like this, and they have their drinks in their hand and they're bent over. So literally you can practice this. There's a good book called, I don't know if I can, I'll just write it down here. It's called Desk Bound. And it teaches you how your body language, a lot of it is based on how long of a time you're sitting down for hours and hours and all this different stuff. So you can actually fix that. You can reverse all the effects that you'd have had from sitting down, okay? And again, just like practicing, make the conscious decision. If you notice your back is like this as you're walking, you'd be like, okay, chest high, right? And practice it. And that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, and another thing, motion creates emotion. So if you're like this, you're gonna feel depressed. If you're like this, you're gonna feel good. You're gonna feel confident. Because who walks like this?
Leaders.
Leaders. Confident male. So just by you doing this, your brain is gonna start reacting in a way where you're like, okay, I'm confident, I feel good. Obviously I have to, why would I be walking like this? Another thing you can do, no, that's gonna get too confusing. It's not worth it. Okay, so now facial expressions. Too much laughing and smiling means that you're insecure. So again, make this deliberate decision where you're making this conscious choice where you're talking to a girl, you're like, why am I smiling right now? Too much laughing or smiling means you are insecure. Too little laughing and smiling means you're too serious. So most guys have either or of the problem. They're like, oh, why does the girl go away? Because she doesn't view you as a serious guy because you're laughing and smiling too much. Why does the girl go away? Well, you're being too serious, right? So there's a balance. And the way I like to look at it is like when she says something that I'm interested in, I'll laugh, I'll smile. Or if she says something that I find cool, I'll laugh or smile. But I won't do it all the time, okay? And yeah, one important thing is you can actually film yourself if you need to. Like one of the best things I've ever done is by filming my own infield. You took a boot camp with me, and how did you feel when you saw your own infield? Cringe, right?
Yeah, it was
You're
bad.
just like, Jesus, that's me. But it created changes.
Oh yeah.
Because as soon as you see yourself and you realize like, oh shit, I'm doing all this. Oh, that's so fucking cringe. I can't believe I did that. It creates that emotional pain anchor in your brain that you'll never want to do it again. And now you can start acting more authentically. You can also record your voice and do all that stuff, and that'll definitely help. You can like start listening to it and be like, oh God, that was so cringe. I shouldn't have said that. And again, you create those deep emotional anchors of what you should do and shouldn't do, and it's going to change your behavior. So all these different things you can do.